Everyone, good evening, everyone. This is Ellasin, and you are watching Real Talk with Ellasin. So, listen, if you are on Facebook, please go ahead and hit that like button. And if you are on YouTube, subscribe. On Real Talk, we talk about issues that affect the community, the church as a whole. We talk about real issues, right? Today, I am so excited to have with me my sister, my friend, my co-host, Jaquita Garrett. Welcome, Jaquita.
Hi, yay. Happy to be here. Thank you for having me again, Ellasin.
It is always a pleasure. It's always a pleasure. Listen, we want you guys to be involved with us on today. Today, we're going to be talking about coping, ways to cope. We are going to give you guys tips on how to cope. We're going to talk about different things that people are going through to cope, right? So, before we get started, I want everybody to get a piece of paper and a pen or a pencil. So get a piece of paper, a pen or a pencil, and hold on to it. We're going to talk about it later on in the show, right? Okay. So today, what we're basically going to talk about is how do we cope? America right now is struggling. America is struggling with finances. They're struggling with mental health. They're struggling with divorce rates are sky high. I mean, jobs decreasing, even though we see that they're increasing. America is struggling right now. Right. And because of the struggle that most of us are going through, and because we don't know how to cope, we are seeing an increase in crime. We are seeing an increase in mental health, issues. We are seeing an increase of just people being angry, aggression. A lot of different things are happening because we as people are not able to cope with the amount of layers that are happening to us as individuals, right? So today, what I want to say is, did you know that there are over 20 million people that deal with anxiety?
I can believe it. I can believe the rate is that high. If not the entire world, at some point, I think we all kind of deal with some type of anxiety. Right. Some more increased than others, some at a minimal experience than others. But I think everyone, if not all, has experienced some type of anxiety.
Yes, and I agree. And we get the butterflies in the stomach. And I got the truth be told is I get it every time before I come here. Got to preach, pray, or something. I get the butterflies. But most Americans deal with some kind of anxiety. And we're not talking about just the butterflies, but opportunities that they're missing because of fear.
Right.
Because that's what anxiety is. It's a fear or being overwhelmed. And what I would like for you guys to do is share what you may need help coping with and let us help you. So I want you guys to be interactive with us on today.
Right. So if you all can just participate and put your comments at the bottom, and as we see it, we'll respond or give you some tips that you may need that can help you with coping. Whether it's, and I'm sure Ellasin's going to go over it, whether it's depression, whether it's anxiety, whether it's grief. We all are experiencing some type of experience with that today. So feel free. Don't feel uncomfortable. This is called Real Talk.
Yes.
So everything is real that we talk about. Yes. The only question is a dumb question is one that's not asked.
That's right. That's good. I like that. There you go. I like that. So yeah, we're all, like you said, we're all dealing with, and let's just chat about grief, because a lot of people think grief is because I lost someone and they're no longer here. But grief can also be grieving over a relationship.
Agreed.
Right? So grief can be grieving over a relationship, and now I don't know how I'm going to manage. So I'm stuck in some kind of phase of grief, and I'm still dealing with that. So what could we talk to the people about when it comes to coping with grief?
Well, another thing I wanted to add on to it, I like that you said put the spin on the relationship side, because sometimes you can still currently be in a relationship and experience some type of grief, madness or angry because you don't know how to get out the relationship. You're mad because you're feeling stuck. And that's a form of grief as well. So I do agree with Ellasin. Just have to find different ways that you can cope, whether it's a relationship or you're in one or you're getting out of one. There's several different things. There's spiritual ways of coping. There's ideas that you can come up with in your mind. There's physical ways of coping with different things when it comes to anxiety. And we're going to cover those today.
Yeah, we're definitely going to go over that. But let's talk about what can cause me, right, to be anxious. What are some things that can cause a person to be anxious? That's what I want to touch base on. And a lot of people don't know that there are certain kind of foods. There are certain kind of foods that can cause a person to be anxious. And we all know caffeine.
Caffeine, for sure.
We all know caffeine, but processed foods.
Yeah,
processed foods, those definitely can cause a person to be anxious. And then you have other foods, alcohol. A lot of people think alcohol what?
Consumption of alcohol, they turn to it as they turn to it to try to resolve an issue that they're experiencing, whether it's depression, anxiety, and so forth. And all it does is it just adds on to the actual sadness or the anxiety. And in that moment, you think you're feeling better and you're not. So consumption of alcohol is one of the biggest issues.
Yes.
Dealing with the anxiety that we may experience. So if you are using that as a coping mechanism, I suggest as a substance abuse specialist that you choose other options outside of alcohol consumption.
Yes. And I like that you said, for something else, use something else, because alcohol, yes, it can cause anxiety, but it's also a depressant.
It's a depressant,
right? Definitely. It's a depressant. So now I am sitting here drinking something that's making me depressed, trying to take away my depression. And now I'm wondering why I'm sinking a little bit more.
It's spiraling more out of control. It's placing you deeper within your thoughts. Instead of you being able to think clearly, it's actually altering the positive side of thinking. So instead of your behaviors being positive and rational, they're becoming more irrational.
Right. So what are some things I could do instead of picking up a drink? I know like eating a piece of candy is one.
Eating a piece of candy. They prefer you to eat something more like a dark chocolate because it's healthy as opposed to turning to caffeine. Some type of fruit is helpful. That's just things that you can eat. Chew gum, that's helpful. Deep breathing exercises is also helpful with trying to decrease the anxiety.
Right. Okay.
So it's a few other things. It's other things that we can cover. It could be physical. It could be spiritual, as we said.
Yes,
within
definitely.
Your mind. Some spiritual side of it is where you can read. You can read the Bible, pray.
Yeah.
Have a prayer group where you guys come together. You can also start a group where if you're experiencing anxiety, you can start an anxiety group. You can name it something, and every week you can cover something dealing with anxiety.
Right.
Whether it's anger, depression, or the alcohol side, just come together as a whole. That helps decrease anxiety. It gives you something to look forward to as well.
Okay. So I want you guys to put a thumbs up or say, yes, I did, or something. If you knew that those ready-made foods that, are so quick, them quick meals, Hungry Man, Hungry Jack meals, whatever they are, I want y'all to put a thumbs up or yes, I knew it. If you knew that those meals can also cause you to be anxious, right? So let me know. Did you know that ready-made meals can cause you anxiety? Did y'all know that? I didn't know that. I'm just going to keep it real. I didn't know.
I've heard it. I don't know. I've heard it. Hey, when you hungry though. I'm not saying go to it as your go-to. However, listen to what Ellasin said. Take her advice on it.
Yes.
Try to go to a more healthier approach of things.
Yes. Cook your food because food that is already prepared, processed food high in trans fats, saturated in fat. Like fried food, all the fried foods you eat, like the Popeyes and Church's chicken and whatever fried food you eat, all of that can cause us to become anxious, right? So did y'all know it? Let me see. How many of y'all say yes? I don't know how many of y'all say yes or put a thumbs up. I didn't know that fried foods and ready-made meals can cause anxiety. Right. But now y'all know you guys are held accountable to cook more.
Right. Definitely held accountable. And if it's your favorite food, as she's bringing it up as an important factor, it's things you can do to your food. Technically, you can bake your chicken. You don't necessarily have to fry your chicken. You can saute or marinate your fish. Mm-hmm. It's other options outside of causing it to have saturated fat.
Right.
You can use more of the
olive oil. Stay away from the butter.
Olive oil, stay away from the butter. Mm-hmm. You can eliminate the cooking oil by using the fryer.
The air fryer.
The air fryer. Yes. That'll help eliminate it as well. Mm-hmm. So that's some of the options when it comes to the food and how it can heighten like the anxiety.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, right. Some people say, well, how do I know when anxiety interferes with my life, right? Because we may get anxious right before we speak to someone, or right before we go to an engagement, or right before we do something. Mm-hmm. But signs that I have a disorder or it's mm-hmm. disrupting me is when, for instance, I'm developing a social phobia. I can't be around the people. Right. I tend to back off. Mm-hmm. That's a little bit more to be an extrovert, because mm-hmm. an introvert, my bad. Mm-hmm. If you're an introvert, then yeah, you kind of tend to yourself. Mm-hmm. But am I ignoring the fact that I can't go into that grocery store because there's too many people, or I can't be in that crowd because there's too many people? Mm-hmm. These are the signs that I need to maybe seek some help because I'm a little bit too anxious. Mm-hmm. Right.
And while you're talking about that and you're speaking on it, like as far as somebody that's introvert as opposed to somebody that's extrovert, what are some of the signs of anxiety? Like, some people may not even realize mm-hmm. that it's anxiety. So what are some of the signs that you know or have seen that develops into anxiety? Because a person could be experiencing it and be like, I don't know what this is. Right. Oh my God, in this very moment. So what are some signs?
So have you ever just all of a sudden started getting sweaty? Your palms and hands are sweaty. You just started getting sweaty. Mm-hmm. You're feeling nervous. Mm-hmm. Your whole body feel like it's just shaking, like somebody's shaking you up. Like that's anxiety. Mm-hmm. Be careful, because it can also go into a panic attack.
Correct.
That's when you start hyperventilating. Mm-hmm. That's when you can't calm yourself down. 9 out of 10 times, those are the ones that end up in the emergency room.
Or you feel like,
right? Because you feel like you're having a heart attack. Yes.
And you can't control it.
Yes.
And
yes.
We were discussing it a few minutes ago. It's kind of sort of more or less like mind over matter with mm-hmm. some situations. Mm-hmm. I won't say that it's like that with every situation. But some people can identify it kind of early, and that way you can do small things to calm yourself down. Mm-hmm. So that's why I kind of wanted to bring up what are some signs, because now a person could say, and we're not diagnosing you to say you have anxiety right. or anything like that. Let's put that out there. We're just saying, hey, this is some things you may be experiencing. Maybe you want to talk to your doctor about it to see where you can go from there. Or it may be so small that you may be able to take a few techniques that we have today mm-hmm. to help decrease the little bit of anxiety you may be experiencing.
Right. And let me say this. There is a good anxiety. Like I talked mm-hmm. about, sometimes we get a little nervous, like right before we come on a show or different things like that. Mm-hmm. Like that's just our normal.
Right.
But the one where I was saying you're sweaty and, is uncontrollable thoughts and your heart's racing. And, if I could be transparent, I dealt with anxiety, and I can't tell you how many trips to the emergency room I took because of the fact that I thought I was literally going to die right. because my heart was beating so fast and I couldn't calm my thoughts. Right. Mm-hmm. So we're definitely going to talk about some tips. I had asked you guys, for you guys that joined us a little later, to get a piece of paper and a pen, because I want to give you something on the show that you can keep and you can look at and you can revert back to if you're ever experiencing any kind of anxiety, depression, or anything. Is a coping skill. Right. So for anxiety, the best thing to do with that is to get control of your thoughts. Right? Because the anxiousness starts in your mind. That's where anxiety starts.
Mm-hmm. So by anxiety starting there, it's a few tips we can give you that may be helpful for you. Mm-hmm. Like Ellasin said, if you guys are watching, if you had the opportunity to take out a piece of paper and a pen, and maybe you could jot some things down. So I would say make a list by writing down some positive things you enjoy doing. Like, what are your favorite hobbies? If you get out in the community, or do you have a special place you like to go? I would start there. Think of things like the positive things that has happened or are currently happening in your life, as opposed to some of the negative things that you may be experiencing.
Yeah, that's good.
Write down some goals. So we all have goals we would like to reach in life. You can write down short-term goals, meaning like something you want to accomplish in the next day, the next week, or you can write down long-term goals, like in the next year, hey, I want to open my own business, or I want to buy a home. That's ways to get yourself moving and grooving to help decrease some of the anxiety you might be feeling. And in a moment when you accomplish a goal, reward yourself.
Yes. And I wanted to jump on goals. So because people, they will write down goals that they can't achieve.
Realistic.
Right. So write down small goals, right? If you haven't been working out, don't say I'm getting ready to do 5-10 miles, right? Get to the mailbox, get to the corner,
right?
Make it small so that you can, like you said, award yourself. Like, hey, yeah, I did that. I walked to the mailbox. I walked to the corner, right? Because the worst thing you can do is start something and start feeling discouraged. So that's only going to increase more anxiousness, more depression, right? So make sure your goals are goals that are obtainable,
right? And another thing too, write down your strengths, as opposed to you being in the moment, or you could feel it coming on. Write down your strengths that you're experiencing in life that may be working for you, as opposed to, it's something to get your mind to not focus on the negative things that may seem to be transpiring in your life.
Right.
Writing down your strength is a good one.
Yes.
Think opposite of what may be negative brewing in your mind. Like counter it. Yeah. So in that way, as opposed to you saying I can't do it, say I'll put my mind to it and I will accomplish this.
Right.
So that's some things to add to the ideas of in your mind to decrease your anxiety.
Right. And I like that you said that, because so many times we'll say I'm trying, but I can say all day long that I'm trying to get up out the chair. But until I actually get ready to do it, I'm not going to do it. So putting your mind to it and saying I can do it, right? Some of the things I like to say to my clients is, if you keep telling me I can't, I'm going to tell you to replace that word with I won't. Right? Replace that word with I won't. Every time you tell yourself I can't, say I won't, because there's some things we can do, but we just don't do it for one reason or another. So be realistic, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Definitely.
What about journaling?
Journaling is good. I think journaling is a good one. Definitely exercising. One thing I really want to put out there that's very important is self-care.
Yes.
That's a good one. Like instead of sitting in feeling so anxious, go get your nails done, or go get your feet done, or call up a friend that gives you positive vibes, so y'all can have some positive energy flowing. But that's good ways to look at it. Journaling is a good thing, because you can evaluate where you were yesterday, and if your anxiety was high, and as opposed to where you're feeling today as well. Painting is good. You can paint, you can draw. It's just a matter of finding your hobbies and what makes you happy to decrease and not think about the negative side of having it.
That's right. And I mean, so sometimes, because, I seen where Eric said working out helps him release some stress, but, working out, even if you go out in your garden, even for men, if you mow the lawn, tinker around on your car, different things that you like to do that's going to make you happy, because the anxiety is in your mind, and it's pulling on thoughts that are negative, that is triggering you to feel this way. So by me tapping into what makes me happy, then now I can start decreasing my thoughts. Right. And turning my thoughts around. Turning our thoughts around is the goal.
Turn your thoughts around is the goal. I definitely agree. So like Ellasin said as well too, like it depends on the situation that causes anxiety to arise. Like you can have an interview on a job that can cause you to feel like you're panicking and you're having an anxiety attack. It could be a special event that you're a guest speaker at, that you have to speak at as well. I say, in my opinion, look at the situation, go into the situation without such high expectations of what the outcome is going to be in that situation. Is how I look at it. Just go into it as in, hey, I'm gonna remain positive. It is what it is.
Right.
Because when you start thinking in terms of, oh, I want to make sure I sound amazing. I want to make sure
Yes.
people saw me. I want to make sure I'm seen.
Yes.
So those are things you're implementing upon yourself that you should not do, that causes an increase in anxiety.
Yeah.
So go into it without such high expectations.
I like that. And you know, another thing that I find that some people do, and y'all let me know in the chat if y'all have ever done this. You rehearse the whole thing. You rehearse the whole scenario.
Definitely.
Okay, well, I'm gonna go into this job interview. I'm gonna do this, and the person's gonna say this, and then I'm gonna answer that way. And then we're, like you said, we're having these expectations. We're feeling anxious because we're in a scenario, or then we're getting anxious in there because of the mere fact they didn't say what we thought they were gonna say.
That's it.
Right.
Definitely.
So we're becoming anxious because we thought this is what they were going to say. Why? Because we try to control
every situation.
Yes, you can't control. Yes. Have anybody ever did that? You rehearsed the whole scenario?
I have, and it went total opposite. It was left.
Yes. So we're just talking about ways to cope with anxiety. And remember, I asked each of you guys to get a paper and a pen because we're going to do an exercise. But y'all talk back to me. What are you dealing with that you may need coping with, right? So we were talking about how foods can cause anxiety. We talk about how alcohol can cause anxiety. Situations can cause anxiety. Situations can cause depression, right? So I hear a lot of people say, "Oh, I'm depressed," but they don't really know what depression is.
Don't really know what
right?
It is.
It's okay that I'm sad. I'm not okay, you know. And I think, to be transparent again, I just said this I think a couple of days ago. You know what? Right now I'm going through some things and I'm not okay.
Right.
Listen, guys, it's okay. Especially my church folk. Yes, we blessed and highly favored. But it's okay if you have that special person that you can talk to say, I'm not okay today.
Right.
You know, the first way to change is to identify what's wrong. If I don't identify that I'm not okay, how am I going to get some help?
Right. 100% in agreement. And you have to be able to accept that. A lot of people are ashamed. A lot of people won't speak on things that they're experiencing because I'm embarrassed. I'm going to be too embarrassed for this person to know I'm not comfortable being in this setting right now. I'm going to fake it till I make it. And that only increases the anxiety as well. And then the depression side, like you even spoke on, like, what are some signs? Again, I'll kind of say to you again, for those who may not really know what their signs of depressions are. So what are some of those signs of depression?
So before I get into the signs of depression, I want to address the question is, how do I deal if I'm constantly self-doubting? Right? So if I'm self-doubting myself, number one, again, I got to identify what is it, what happened, what transpired that I am self-doubting myself. Who said what to me that I'm self-doubting myself? What mistake did I make that I did not get over that I'm self-doubting myself? Once you're able to identify the reasons you are having self-doubt, now we can talk about reality.
Right.
Okay, well, you know what? That was a mistake. But you know what? If you look at the whole spectrum of it, some of the things wasn't my fault. And I couldn't, I wasn't responsible for the way it turned out.
Right. Like being in a relationship that went bad.
Yes.
If he never told you anything good or anything positive, it tends to stick and manifest within your brain. So that's where the self-doubt starts to trickle in your head. And,
And then the other part of that is, how do I see me? Right? How do I really see me? Have I been living in a facade, or have I been living authentic? And how do I see me? Because do I see myself as a failure? Do I see myself as irresponsible? Do I see myself as all of these things? Right? And if that's the case, then I now have to train my mind or retrain my mind to start looking at my positives. What am I doing right? What am I saying right? All those things help you to retrain your mind. That's just like with anxiety and depression and all of these things. We have to retrain our mind in order to cope.
Right. And see, that's to add on to that. I say it's positive self-talk is what helps you to start getting yourself out of what Ellison brought up in the question that the guest asked. Positive self-talk is what starts to boost you in a positive direction.
Yeah.
You say things to yourself, even without anyone present.
Yeah.
I am beautiful. I am me. I am worthy.
Yes.
I am worthy. I am worth all that I desire
Yes.
to have in my life. It starts with you.
That's right.
To be able to control it. Positive self-talk, rational thinking, as opposed to irrational thinking. Because when you really look at it, when you're constantly talking in a negative manner, then your behaviors become negative.
Yes.
Like you become reckless.
Right.
You know, and that turns to alcohol, just going back to
any
it,
kind of
unhealthy eating,
you know,
so positive self-talk, rational thinking. And trying to maintain positive behavior and surrounding yourself with positive people, good energy. Get you flowing and going in the right direction.
Yes. Listen, you are watching Real Talk with Ellasin and Jaquita J, and we just listen, we're talking about coping strategies and how to cope. We dare you to share this out. We know that you know somebody who's going through something, who need to know how to cope, and we are sharing right now tips on how to cope. And the positive mindset, we know life is not all about dancing through the tulips and smelling the roses, right? But at the same time, I have to say, you know what, right now, this is the storm. How am I going to get through the storm instead of saying I'm drowning, instead of thinking in a negative set? Because if I think negative and I let it sit there, it's going to fester and grow. Our voice is the voice we hear the most. So if I'm speaking to myself, self-defeating behavior, negative verbiage, then guess what myself is going to spew out? Negativity. That's why you said be around positive people. Right? Be around positive people. Have a prayer life. Right? Be in your word. Right? Be in your word. So to get back to your question, you said, what are some signs of depression? If it's okay, so let me just say this time of the year, there's a part of depression that's called SAD, seasonal affective disorder. A lot of people, when the leaves start to change and it becomes colder, the sun goes down and it's not as hot, they become sad. They become more sad. Their mood decreases. That doesn't necessarily mean that I'm in a state of depression. A state of depression looks like something that lasts longer than 2 weeks. Has it been 2 weeks or longer? Right. And what happened? Is there a loss that happened in my life? Right. What is going on that's making me feel depressed? Am I losing pleasure in my activities? Whether it's going out with my friends, whether it's, sexual activities, whether it's being with, my decrease in my social status. What are those things happening to me? Where's my energy? My energy. I'm lacking energy. I don't want to do anything. There's days that we want to sit on a couch, right? But then you got to realize I've been sitting on this couch for 2 weeks.
Isolation.
It's time to get up. Isolation is it, right? My sleeping is disturbed. I'm not sleeping as much, or I'm sleeping too much.
Excessive sleeping. That's a sign as well.
Exactly.
Not getting out of bed.
Self-worth goes down.
You feel hopeless. You're tearful. Any little thing causes you to feel like you're sad. Like it could be any situation. If you're finding a sadness in that actual situation when it could have been a positive moment, then it's time to self-evaluate. Or am I really starting to feel depressed? All the signs that Ellasin spoke on just now is definitely real. There are other signs as well. What happens to me, a scary part of depression I often think about is how long will you wallow in the depression? Because sometimes you find yourself wallowing so deep in the depression that you begin to lose thought and sight of things being positive. You go into that depression, lack of sleep, not eating properly. It causes sleep deprivation. And when you fall into depression in that side, it becomes scary. For me, what I call it is kind of slipping into the other side, to where your brain becomes altered and you're fighting to get back. And you can't go back to that side of feeling like the normalcy that you once had. So that to me is a true sign of depression. So if you're feeling that deep, then it's time for you to definitely get help.
Get help.
But these signs that Ellasin and I are explaining to you is signs that you may start to see now in the beginning. It doesn't have to be you. It could be your best friend. It could be your mom. It could be a sibling.
It can be our children. It can be
children.
Because 10% of Americans are depressed, right? And that is starting with our children. Most of that is starting at a very young age up into teenage years. Right. So take note. If your child, you know, it's one thing for the child to sit in the room, but they don't never come out. They're just always isolated. They're not talking to their friends. Know the signs of your friend. Know the signs of your children. Know the signs of your partner. Depression in men look a little different. Right. So is his eating habits changed? Does he have a headache? You know, what's his bowels like? Because yes, in men, that's it. So remember, you know, it does look a little different in men.
A little different. And another thing too with depression, it may not be you, but let's say it's a family member, your son, your daughter, your best friend. I know sometimes that individual may be annoying you per se, but at the same time, don't ignore what that person is trying to express to you, especially if you're not used to that person being like that.
That's right.
So take heed to say, let me take time out to ask this person something, because you don't know what they're going through. And you don't know what you may say to cause them to have a change and make them more upbeat to want to move around.
That's right.
You know, but when you don't kind of show an interest of what they're saying, then they could be sleeping deeper into
it. And the thing about it is, with anything like we were talking about, whether it's grief, anxiety, depression, you know, it's a slippery slope, and it's almost like you're spiraling downward. If not careful, and if you don't get the proper help, if you don't identify this is what's happening, then this is where it can start going over into a mental illness. These disorders, you're fighting for you. You have to fight for you. If you don't have the fight for you, it's going to be hard for me to fight for you. Right? So you're going to have the want to fight for you. You're going to have the want to change your mindset, because again, that's where it all belongs. That's where it all starts. So dealing with depression is a little harder than dealing with anxiety. So to deal with depression, I have to realize, and I have to take, if you say, hey, I've been noticing that, you know, you haven't been as motivated. I'm noticing you haven't been taking care of yourself. I need to pay attention to what you're telling me, because maybe I'm not noticing it because I'm in that slump. Right. I can't notice it because I'm in the box.
And a lot of people are like that as well. And like ADLs, like she's expressing to you guys, like, watch yourself, pay attention to yourself, your friend, family member, whoever. You may notice that they're wearing the same clothes every day. You may notice that they're not bathing. They may have a smell. They may not be brushing their teeth. Their hair, things like that is signs of depression as well. And for anybody out there who feels as though they may be experiencing signs of depression, we want to let you guys know that it's okay to not be okay. It's okay for you to say, hey, I just want to take the moment, Ellasin, to tell you that I'm not okay. I can't really identify why I'm not okay, but I need you to know that something is wrong with me. And in that moment, she may be able to help me and help me identify some of the things and the information we are giving you guys today. So just know that what we're trying to get out to you guys is not about being shamed. It's not about being embarrassed when it comes to anxiety, depression. Tell that person, I'm not okay. Don't say, oh, I don't want to burden this individual, because when you start to, another thing dealing with mental health, when you shift in that direction, you got to be real careful, because you may end up having signs and experiencing some things that we may have to report to say, hey, she needs help. She's not okay. And we don't want you to be mad at us. We just want to be able to get you the help that you need before it pushes that far.
And identifying that and knowing all of that, the one thing I like to say, this statement helps me a lot. My job is me. I have to take care of me. All of us go to work and we know the criteria for our jobs, right? What's the criteria to take care of me? What's my self-care that my job is being, and am I doing that? Right. So that's how you can stay on top of these things. That's not to say you're not going to experience an anxious moment or two, or have a battle of being in low mood or anything. It's not to say that at all. But if I am paying attention to myself, then I'm noticing things that are not normal, and I'm saying, hey, something's going on here. So now I need to work on how to modify it. So with depression, the one thing we say to do is to self-motivate. Right. And we talked a little bit about this. Go exercise, bake if you like baking, different things like that.
Set an alarm.
Set an alarm to get up. Yes, yes. So that is really good. It says, what if a friend or family member is showing signs of depression, but they do not believe it? Whoo, the hardest thing, Quita.
Yeah, that's pretty hard.
Yeah.
It's denial, for one. Being in denial, not willing to accept that this is reality in this moment. A lot of people that falls into depression, that's where they are. Like, you can say, okay, girl, something not right. You depressed over here. And they just like, girl, no, I'm not. I'm fine. And they know for sure that they're not fine. They're just telling you they're fine. But they know. And if you see it, they know at that moment, like, oh my God, she sees it. I have to get out this slump. So like she said, self-motivation. So relating to the question, like, what do you...
Don't give up. Don't give up. Don't give up talking to them. Let them know what you're noticing. Right? Let them know. I have a friend and she just told me, get out my butt. No, I'm staying up there because I'm noticing some things. So I'm going to be up in there. Right? No, I noticed some things. I need you to get up. Don't give up on them. Right? Make sure you're praying for them. Try to get them out the house. If they don't want to get out the house, go over there.
Or set something. You know what you say? You say, hey, I don't want to be bothered today. I'll give you today, but tomorrow I'm coming back.
That's right.
Let that person feel like you're there in your
presence. Do not give up.
Right.
So what if you're so deep into depression and you feel like there's no way out? That is a good question. And that is alarming if you feel like there's no way out. When you say and you identify there's no way out, that's when you know you need to get some help. Agreed. Right? You need to get some professional help. And I know a lot of cultures shun away from getting help. But I need to get help.
Especially.
Yes. Remember, I said, my job is me.
Right.
So with that being said, I know that I'm spiraling. I know that I see no way out. If I don't see no way out, what does that mean? Am I having suicidal ideation? Right? Am I starting to think thoughts about, well, maybe I might not be here?
Right.
This is the time I need to say, my job is me. I love me. I need some help. Whether that's therapy, whether that's 988, the National Suicide Hotline, to talk to them. Go to the hospital, call a friend, right? If you know someone in church, or if you're in church, even get with somebody and start praying. But the most important thing is to get some help, because there is a way out.
There is,
and it's not suicide.
It's not suicide,
and it's not to stay in that slump. Right. But help is the true answer.
Help is the true answer.
Right. And again, if I can identify where I am, then I know I need some help.
You need some help in that moment. And if you know that you have loved ones or friends or somebody you confide in, and they are really, truly there for you, don't shut them out. Allow them to help you through the process. Because like she said, some people are scared to say, oh, I don't want to go see a therapist. I don't want to go to a psychiatrist. That's embarrassing. Well, when you have individuals there and available to support, use it.
Yes.
Don't ignore it.
Yes. Yes. I do. We have a way out, right? So it says several people we fellowship with are dealing with loss of loved ones. How can we help them better cope around the holiday season? So here's a little something that I have to say. It doesn't become easy. It just becomes manageable.
That's it.
And I'm saying that from a personal experience. The holiday season, most people get depressed around this time. Again, seasons change.
Seasons change.
And then again, that person that we love so much, that we talk to all the time, they're no longer here.
Right.
But they're only no longer here like this.
Physically.
They're here in our hearts.
Right.
We can read something we do is we remember, and it's my mom.
Mm-hmm.
We remember funny things that my mother used to say, and
Right.
we will say it, or we'll eat a favorite food of hers, or
Right.
you know, something to remember that person by
Mm-hmm.
in a positive manner,
Right.
not one that's going to cause us to be sad.
Right.
Right. So that's how I would encourage
Yep.
people
Mm-hmm.
around this time. Remember your loved ones.
Definitely.
They're still your loved ones.
Mm-hmm.
The memory of them, the happy times, and we know they're not all happy, but
Right.
remember those happy times.
Right.
And keep them in your heart. Right. My mother loves fish.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll eat fish on Christmas because that was her favorite food, fish.
Definitely.
You know, so that's how we remember my mother.
Right. The loved ones.
Yeah. So so the other thing that I wanted to just chat a little bit about was with anxiety, right? If we're having anxiety, and I want all you guys who are on Real Talk with Ellasin right now, I need you to practice this, okay? Now, the technical term is called progressive muscle relaxation. I'm just going to tell y'all it's called body scan. Okay. So I want all of you guys to do this. You going to do it?
I'm a little constipated, but I'll try.
Put your it's Real Talk, y'all. I love her.
Sorry.
So put your feet flat on the floor, right? And sit straight up. Now it's called body scan. I suggest to do this before you go to bed to just release everything and relax it.
Relax.
Some parts of this you can do in the workplace or anything else. But I want you guys to squeeze your toes.
Oh my
Squeeze your
God.
toes, squeeze your toes, squeeze your toes. I don't think y'all squeezing.
I'm getting a toe cramp.
And then relax it slowly. Now squeeze your calves. Like squeeze. And then relax them slowly. Now, at the same time, I want you to squeeze your gluteus maximus, your booty cheeks, as well as your abs, right? I want you to squeeze your booty cheeks and your abs.
And pray nothing come out. Real talk.
Now, relax slowly. Then I want you to squeeze your fist. And then relax slowly. Now take your shoulders, squeeze, reach for your ears, reach. And then relax slowly. See, like this. Okay, so what that does is if you did it correctly,
not like me.
You should have felt some kind of tension in your body, some kind of pain or tension somewhere in your body. That is your body identifying stress and tension. If you practice that every day, what you are training your body to do is the minute I feel stressed and tense, my body's going to be like, relax. Relax. Because all the squeezing and relaxing you're doing, you're letting your body, you're training your body to identify tension, right? Body scan. If you have problems going to sleep, do that right before you go to take your shower and then go to bed, right? Body scan, release that tension. So that's one thing, right? Technical term is called progressive muscle relaxation.
Gotcha.
Body scan. Okay.
They also said another one is along with body scan. I don't think body scan is going to work for me. I don't know. It's just, you can tell how I look with the camera. So I apologize ahead of time. But they said if you lay on the floor and you put your bottom up against the wall. So if you have a flat surface, you'll be shaped like an L. But your head and your butt area is on the floor. But then
your head and your booty on the floor?
Your head and like you lay flat on your back.
Oh,
and then
okay.
You lay flat on your back and you put your legs up against the wall.
Okay,
so you look like an L.
Yes, all
but
right.
your upper body is on the floor and your lower body is up against the wall.
Okay.
And if you do that and you sit there, probably about 2 to 3 minutes, and you deep breathe in and you deep breathe out, then you begin to release some of the stress and anxiety.
Well, for us assist that got back and knee problems, I'll be scanning.
Well, I will be scanning.
That works. And then you said deep breathing.
Deep breathing.
So a lot of people don't know the proper way to deep breathe. It's not. That's not it. It's through your nose.
I gotta let it out enough fast. I got asthma.
Out your mouth, right? You take. So what I like to say is I'm deep breathing in, and when I start releasing out through my mouth, I'm releasing everything that kind of stressed me. I'm calling it out as I'm releasing it out. So you breathe in through your nose. We like to say hold it for 10 seconds and then release it. So here we go again. Y'all ready? Breathe in through your nose. Let the stress out. And I even like to go a step further and go, and just let it all just, right? So that's how you really deep breathe. Let it all out. I hope you guys are practicing this at home. Can y'all put a thumbs up or yes, I'm doing it, please, in the chat? Let us know that we not by ourselves.
Hit subscribe.
Yes, don't forget to subscribe.
Another thing, get some sleep.
Well, so rest. Let's talk about sleep. I can't sleep because my mind is racing. Right? How do I get out? How do I get out of my own mind? Right? Scripture tells us, keep our mind steadfast on him. Get a scripture that you quote over and over again. That's common, right? If you don't have a scripture, pick up your phone. Y'all got apps for everything else. They got a Bible app that can read the Bible for you to help you relax, right? They got water apps that play all the rainforest and everything else to help relax your mind. Body scan, your L shape, whatever you were doing over there, all of those things, deep breathing before you go to sleep.
The shade. Okay.
All of that stuff that we suggested that you do, right, prior to bed will help you relax your mind.
Right.
Sometimes you may need to even write it out. If I have it on my mind, write it out. Right? So I wrote it out, and now I can say, okay, you know what, Ellasin? Why are you still thinking about this? You already wrote it out. Deal with it tomorrow.
Give it to God.
Give it to God. Right? Most of the time, it's either problems we got to deal with, children we got going on, what's happening at work tomorrow, finances, family. Family, all of that stuff. Write it out. Write out what the problem is. Deal with it tomorrow. If you want to pick it up tomorrow, but pick up what you can control. That's the only reason why we're anxious, because we can't control it. If you can't control it, listen, let go and let God.
Let go. And stress causes sickness in the body.
It does. Sickness in the body. In the body. You get headaches, you get body aches, you get irritable bowel syndrome, you get, heart failure, heart disease,
right?
All kind of stuff can happen with being anxious or depressed or stressed out, right? It doesn't even mean I have to be anxious or depressed, but stressed out.
Right.
All right. Who's got the paper? Get your paper. I'm getting ready to tell you how to help yourself, right? We're going to talk about cycles.
Let's go.
Right? Everybody got their paper? Y'all not even talking back to me. I feel so bad y'all not talking back to me.
I'm ready. Come on.
All right, so
paper. Let's go.
So on this paper, I want y'all to draw a circle.
Okay.
Draw a circle. While you drawing a circle, make sure y'all sharing this out. Send this to that person that be stressing. Because they stressing you out. So send this to them. So draw a circle. Right? Okay. Got your circle?
Got my circle.
So she gonna do it for us.
Maybe I can see my circle. I got a circle.
All right. Thank you. She said yes. Okay. I got some yeses. All right. At the top of this circle, I want you to put the word thoughts. At the top of the circle, thoughts.
Okay.
Now put 1 or 2 thoughts that continually be in your mouth. Your mouth. Your mind. Your mouth too, because you're talking about it all the time. Right? So whatever it may be, whether it be finances or relationship, whatever. I want you to write thoughts. 1 or 2, whatever. Yep. 1 or 2 thoughts that, the negative thoughts that keep going in your mind, because that's what anxiety is. Negative thoughts. Negative thoughts like my finances or my boo acting weird, whatever the case may be.
He acting up, guy. We
Right.
gotta go.
So whatever it is, whatever that negative thought is that's plaguing your mind, because if it's a positive thought, it's not gonna cause you to be anxious, right?
Well,
all right.
Change.
So thoughts. You got it on the side, right? You ready? Oh, she said I'm ready. Okay, good. On the side, I want you to write. You got it on this side over here.
Okay.
Feelings. So you should have thoughts at the top. Look, real talk is a circle. So thoughts at the top.
That's it.
Feelings on the side,
yep.
right? Mm-hmm. Feelings on the side.
So you want us to write what we feeling? What we're
right.
feeling?
So underneath feelings, look at your thoughts. What feelings do they cause? Do they cause me anxious? Do they cause me depression? Do they cause me stress? Do they cause me anger? What are they causing me? Right? What are these feelings causing me? Are they causing me to be tired, lack motivation, whatever the feelings are, right? Okay.
If it's causing you to need a drink, that's negative.
Yes.
So put it down. I need a drink. No,
yes. So on the bottom, right? So if y'all looking at real talk on the bottom of the circle, down here,
I got
on the bottom, we can't even see that.
Can't see it? Oh.
But anyway, down there on the bottom, I want you to write body. And under body, what are my thoughts and feelings causing my body? Am I being tensed? Am I feeling shaky? Am I sweating?
Am I agitated?
Right? Am I agitated? Right? Am I punching something? What's going on? Right? So I want you guys to do that. Y'all stay with me. I'm going somewhere. I'm really hoping y'all do this because it's going to help. Now, on the final side over here, right? On the final side of your paper, write behavior. What am I doing at this point? What are my thoughts, feelings, and the body actions causing me to behave? How am I behaving? Am I drinking?
Mm-hmm.
Am I anxious? Drugs? Am I using drugs?
Am I getting high?
Right. Am I being promiscuous? Mm-hmm. Right? I mean, it's a whole lot of things. Am I gambling? Am I gambling? Mm-hmm. Right? Am I pulling away from the Lord? Mm-hmm. Like all kind of stuff. What is my behavior at this point? Am I fighting? Am I yelling at everybody all the time? Am I punching walls?
Am I shutting down?
Yes. What is this causing me? Mm-hmm. Right? Y'all following me so far? So we have a circle. Right? And at the top of the circle, you should have your thoughts. At the side of the circle, you should have your feelings. Yes. At the bottom of the circle, the body. Mm-hmm. And on the other side of the circle, you should have behaviors, right? So now I want to take a look at that. Let us look at it. Look at your paper. And you can do this for anything. This, guys, is a cycle. We have a choice to be on this hamster wheel or not. The very first thing we have to control is our what?
What? I can't stop laughing.
Our thoughts. The very first thing we have to control is our thoughts, right? Some ways to control our thoughts are, okay, look at something in your room. Look and see if you guys have multiple pens or the blinds at your window or multiple cups. Just look at something that you can find and count. Focus. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. So I want you to get that thought, the same thought that you wrote down on the piece of paper, right? Mm-hmm. So you got the thought. Now I want you to start counting the objects in your room. Where's the thought?
It went out the window.
Where's the thought? Right? So all that is room inventory. Yep. I had a thought and I started counting the objects in my room. That's not to say the thought is not going to come back, but it's to give you that brief moment so that you can come back to reality.
And that quick, your thoughts was what? Altered.
Yes.
I love that.
Yay.
I'm going to try it. I like that one.
Yeah. So that was called room inventory. Another way to change your thoughts is called guided imagery. What does that look like? Man, I am on the best vacation. So close your eyes. Don't cheat. You cheating. Close your eyes. I'm on the beach. I'm sitting on the sand. My feet are feeling warm as the sand is underneath my feet. I can feel the sand on my feet. I feel the warm sun just beaming down on my skin. I can smell the smell of the ocean, the saltness in the air. There's a gentle breeze that just keeps brushing across my face and is going through my hair. If I listen carefully, I can hear the trees swaying in the wind and the sound of the eagles just squawking above. Did y'all feel peace?
I did till you said something. That wasn't long enough.
Well, we on the show.
Just
but take yourself out of your situation. Sometimes we can't. It's not easy to remove ourselves, but we have a mind, guys. Remove yourself. Take yourself there. It might not be the beach. Some people, I get hot flashes. Take me to the snowbank. I'm good. Right? I'm going to ski down the snowbank, and I got my little white hoodie on and the crisp air blowing on me, and I'm just, yes. Right. Take yourself somewhere away from your negative thoughts. Y'all still with me? Yeah. Thumbs up. Y'all got it? Okay. So now we learned several ways to help us control our thoughts so that we do not have to stay in the negative state of what's causing us to have, anxiety or anything like that. Escape in your mind and change your thoughts. What I showed you guys on that paper was cycles. If I don't stop my thoughts, right?
Right.
If I don't stop my thoughts, I'm going to keep going with my feelings.
Yep.
My feelings are going to cause my body to do something. And then eventually I'm going to behave in a way that's not going to be a good way. And then guess what? I'm going to feel bad about that. So the cycle is going to begin.
Right.
So I challenge each of you, for whatever negative thought you have, to use this cycle diagram I gave you. And now on the side of it, put a positive, right? What was my negative thought? Now, what can my positive thought be? What was my negative feeling? What can my positive feeling be? Alter that for every cycle, whether it's relationship, whether it's finances, whether it's, feeling of inappropriate guilt, whether it's grief, whatever it is, you change your cycle.
Right.
All right, guys. So you've been watching Real Talk with Jaquita and Ellasin, right? And we've been giving you tips on coping skills, and I hope you guys been enjoying my crazy co-host. What you got for us?
I have a little nugget for you guys, because Ellasin always like us to have a nugget, so I was prepared and I'm ready. But no matter what you're experiencing right now, no matter what you're going through, the majority of us do have loved ones who are there to support you. You just have to open up your mouth and speak it into existence and get the help. If you don't have the help, get the professional help. But my nugget for the day is the mind is powerful, but it can also be dangerous.
Yes. Thank you. That was a great nugget. I want you guys to remember, my job is me. I have to take care of myself. I have to take care of myself spiritually, mentally, physically. I have to take care of me. So some of the tips we learned today, we talked about journaling, right? We talked about room inventory. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. That's one of my favorite ones, was the room inventory. That was the counting method.
Healthy
right?
Eating.
We talked about healthier eating. We talked about being physical, more active. We also talked about making sure you have activities and hobbies that make you happy. What else did we talk about?
We talked a little bit about the spiritual side as well. And the thoughts that, you engage within your mind.
Yes.
Definitely start there.
Yep. Control your thoughts. We talked about body scan. We talked about the L shape.
Yep. L wall.
The L wall. We talked about the L wall. And then we talked about cycles, which is the way to help you identify negative thoughts and then a way to be positive. Listen, guys, if you have a negative thought, never leave it there, because it's a seed, and seeds sprout. They start growing root, right? So never leave a negative thought in your mind. If you have a negative thought, You have to cover it with something more positive, something more encouraging.
Right.
We talked a little bit about making sure you have goals that are obtainable, right? Not unrealistic
Not
goals.
unrealistic. Start with the short.
Yes, start with the short. We talked about the importance of identifying and getting help, getting help, getting help, getting help. And know that you are loved. You do have somebody that loves you and somebody that cares for you. Okay? Reach out if you need it.
And pay
Right.
attention to your children again, as she
Yes.
said. It starts with them being very young, younger than we actually think.
Yes.
They're starting to diagnose them even younger now.
younger.
So just pay attention to it. Just ask it's okay. Look, ask them a question. Are you okay? Are you feeling okay? What's on your mind?
That's right.
I constantly ask my 13-year-old son, what is on your mind? Because you just never know what their thoughts are. Sometimes some kids think parents don't care. You know, hey, come out, let's have some family time.
Right.
Make them feel desired, make them feel wanted. But it starts with your kids as well. If you're in a slump yourself, get yourself some help. But then also relate to your kids.
Yes.
As well.
Don't keep taking I don't know and I don't want to for an answer. You know, they're your children. Yeah, have family time. Go out, do some things, right? So we also talked about you know, the mind relaxation that we did. We talked about the hot shower. We talked about all of that good stuff. So listen, you guys have been watching Real Talk with Ellasin. We have been talking about ways to cope. We have given some good tips. Hope you go back and review this. Hope you share it out. If you know somebody going through some things, please share this out. By no means is this the end all on that we talked about on the show, but is a starter. Is a starter for you to recognize where you are, right? Get some help if you need it. All right. Thank you so much for watching Real Talk with Ellasin. You guys have a wonderful and a blessed day. Have a great and a safe holiday season. We love you guys. Mwah.
Happy holidays.